Hey guys, Scripture here with another video, and this is just insane. It's just absolutely insane, and I don't understand. I'm always left just bewildered with Disney and the way they handle things and the way they do things. And so now the latest thing here is that, so we were under the impression that the Acolyte cost $180 million, which is, in my opinion, nuts. That's nuts. How long is the show? 4 hours? Max? I mean, that's nuts. $180 million. You think of movies like, what was it, Godzilla? Didn't it cost like $20 million or something like that? Godzilla X or whatever they call it. So, and when you watch The Acolyte, many of us watching it are like, how is this possible? Like, how can this be? Where did this money go? And so then you, of course, raise the suspicions that they're using it as like, they're defrauding on their taxes or something, right? Saying it's more expensive so that they get a bigger tax write-off, even though that money's not really being spent anywhere. You know, people suspect because The Acolyte did not look expensive whatsoever. I mean, I bring up like the Coruscant scenes were shot in these small rooms, these small sets. They didn't use CGI. They didn't do these big, huge, images of the temple like they had in the prequel trilogy, and it looked cheap and crappy, and the colors were off. They never really expanded the show really at all. Even the other Jedi temple on that other planet, that looked just awful. It looked awful. It would look like a back alleyway somewhere. So it's like they reused a set from some other crappy like show, where there were scenes in like a warehouse or something. And somebody said, "Oh, well, that's because they're trying to be incognito." The Jedi were not incognito during the High Republic. Their temples would have been at their peak. So all that to say, everything looked cheap. The costumes, a lot of them looked cheap. The Jedi costumes. I don't know. I just don't get where the money went. I just don't get it. I haven't gone through what all the actors made. Maybe I should do that. So to put it in perspective, that's $22 million an episode. So the Acolyte spent almost $50 million in pre-production costs. So the Acolyte spent $5 million more than Rogue One in pre-production. How is that possible with with how bad the writing is and everything? How is that possible? The Last Jedi spent 17% more, and Andor spent a whopping 38% more than the Acolyte in pre-production. Okay. In regards to, I find that hard to believe. Andor was the highest production budget of Star Wars, but it is Skeleton Crew that follows up with the second highest production budget of $136 million, which for that seems crazy too. I mean, Andor costing $200 million to me is mind-boggling as well. I'm sorry, that's just, where is the money going? But at least in Andor, you could make arguments like there's some pretty crazy special effects. You do have that one scene in The Acolyte with the effects, with the ship crashing and stuff. But other than that, it just looks like cheap sets, normal stuff that you'd see on any TV show. What did the actors make on The Acolyte? That's what I'm trying to find out here. Male employees were paid better than female employees. It's not what I'm asking. What did they get paid? What are the numbers? Everything's got to be about like fees. I just want to know what the actors got paid. Can you not find that out? Unequal pay. It's all, I don't get this. Why can't we just find out what they got paid? Okay, so I guess they don't. I know that even for the movies, I think Daisy Ridley got paid like $350,000 for all 3 movies. So there's no way that this $230 million is because of salaries for these actors. Maybe Lee from Squid Game got some money. Carrie-Anne Moss would have gotten some money. Maybe Manny got some money, but most of the actors on the show were pretty new. I mean, Amandla Stenberg's been in a couple things, but it's not like she was a household name either. So I don't know. I don't know how it could have cost this much money. It's absolutely mind-boggling to me. And I did the math on it, and it's nuts. As many fans remember, blah, 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 $180 million, which is $22.5 million per episode, which is nuts for barely 30-minute episodes. Now imagine how much deeper those laughs would have been had the public known that this series' true production budget was actually closer to $230 million. Financial report from the UK government by the Acolyte's locally established production company, Blue Stockings Limited. Okay. And here you go. Here's the statement of the comprehensive income there. And the company reported that they spent roughly £38 million in 2022 and £134 million in 2023 for a total of £172 million to produce the Amanda Stenberg-led outing. That's crazy. Crazy. Taking into account the exchange rates, 230 million. Approximately 28.75 million per episode. Not even taking into account the historical exchange rates, Stockings spending still amounted to 200, slightly better. Maybe the catering team chose to go to Nando's on a couple afternoons instead of defaulting to fresh better, but still not altogether great. And yet, for all its big budget spending, as viewers now know, it was practically all for naught, given that the show posted absolutely terrible ratings. Acolyte respectively ranked 7th and 6th in its first 2 weeks on air. By the time the series aired its 4th episode, it had disappeared off the charts. Can you imagine spending this much money for this? Like, this is nuts. Like, is it because Kathleen Kennedy wanted to look woke? I'm going to let Leslie Headland tell whatever story she wants because she's, in a particular group. Is that what it is? Like, why would you give anybody that kind of money for this show? For 8 half-an-hour episodes of any show? Like, even Andor, I can't believe it cost that much money. This is ridiculous. So somebody's just, either they're laundering money or they're just getting hosed, man. They're paying people way too much money. The Acolyte was collectively pulling in less than 298 million collective watch minutes. Dissecting the numbers even further, Leslie Headland Helm series pulled an average of only 74.5 million viewing minutes each. Divide this number by the average runtime of 38 minutes, which includes the credits, which are, by the way, 5 minutes, and the intro, so most of the episodes were actually like 32 minutes long or something. And the resulting figures show that at best, and keep in mind, this is a very, 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 very rough estimation, the Acolyte was struggling to pull in just 1.9 million viewers for the series than the latest episode. I wouldn't care if they were pulling in 5. That's terrible. For a Star Wars show? You know how many tens and hundreds of millions of people went to the movies back in the day? 1.9 million viewers, even if it's, let's double that. Let's make it 3.8, which it wasn't even close to that. That's horrible. Horrible. In the United States, which is what? And is that global or is that just the States? Because the States is like 380 million people and only 5 or only 2 watched The Acolyte, a Star Wars show? Incredible. The largely rejected series was only saved from complete irrelevance by The Acolyte season and now ultimately series finale, which managed to place 10th in its premiere week with 335 million total watch minutes, notably the lowest of any Disney-era Star Wars television series finale. I think by a pretty wide margin, if I'm not mistaken. Like half Andor. The Acolyte was a financial disaster, but earned that title by burning through almost $250 million. Now, I want you guys to understand, when you do the math on that, when you take away the credits and the intro, and you just go by just pure show minutes, you get right around $833,333.33 per minute of this show. That is insanity. There's no way that makes any sense. 230 million. Okay, so let's take a look here. What do we have for these? Are major motion pictures. Pretty close, right? Wakanda Forever. 250 million just a couple years ago. So the inflation is a little off. They probably spent more than that. Let's say 275. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 spent 250 a year ago. So actually, no, wait, what am I saying? Because those numbers are from 2022 and 2023 from Blue Stockings. Stockings. So yeah, so actually 2021. Yeah, so so they almost spent the same amount of money as they spent on Guardians of the Galaxy 3 on The Acolyte. And Wakanda Forever, and Thor Love and Thunder, and No Time to Die. Wow! That is nuts. They spent as much money on The Acolyte as they did The Little Mermaid. They spent, Aquaman spent less than them. I'm trying to keep it within sort of the 2020s, right? Because if you go back too far, like, it doesn't, like, Avatar's from 2009, so. Okay, here's adjusted for inflation. Okay, this is very interesting now. Okay, this is what we want to see. So adjusted for inflation, the Acolyte spent the same money. Oh, I wish this list was longer. But, alas. Wall-E, that's nuts. So they didn't quite spend as much as Thor, Love and Thunder, and Black Panther. Or I guess they did, though, because that's 2022. So really, adjusted for inflation, the Acolyte spent $260 million. Which is probably closer to about $900,000 a minute. What in the heck is going on? That's as much as Iron Man 3. That's what they spent on the Acolyte. Iron Man 3, The Dark Knight. Like I said, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. X-Men Days of Future Past. Like in the 260s, right? Again, adjusted for inflation, they spend about 260, right? Or 265 to 270 because the other numbers were from 2021, the first 37 million pounds. So they literally spent the same amount of money as like Amazing Spider-Man, as like Hobbit Battle of Five Armies. They spent more money than Superman or Evan Almighty or Van Helsing. So this is a disaster. This is beyond comprehension. I can't even believe it. I cannot believe they spent this much money on this. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Like, where did the money go? What are they doing? Are they laundering money? They have to be. It doesn't even make any sense. Let me know in the comment section what you think. If you like this content, please like, subscribe. Always host the channel. Feel free to check anything else on my channel. Have yourselves a really good day.